What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And welcome to my video guide for Rinoa's Lost Chapter, Where to Go, Part 15. Of course, this is going to be on the Chaos fight. And before we do begin with this video, I would just like to gently remind you guys once again to hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. It does help my channel to grow, and of course it does help with the YouTube algorithm. With that in mind, let's start this video. Now, as always, we'll start this off with the final boss's abilities, weaknesses, resistances, and the elements that it can absorb. We'll start off with the weaknesses. This boss does not have any weakness, or does it have any resistances. It doesn't also have any elements that it can absorb, and as for its ability, it has Arrow, which is a wind magic brave attack, Aurora, which is a powerful wind magic brave attack, Eroga, which is a even more powerful wind magic brave attack, Venom Bite, which is a melee HP attack that also has a fair chance of inflicting poison, Poison Hit, which is a magic brave attack that inflicts poison, and this has a high turn rate when inflicting a break or attacking a target afflicted with break, and this also has a plus variant which just adds a speed down debuff. Next is Powder Stream, which is a group magic brave attack. This also inflicts a turn rate down debuff and an attack down debuff. Next up is Rallying Cry. This basically summons these small swarm flies and raises the attack, defense, initial brave, max brave, and speed of all these small swarm flies summoned while it's angry. Next is Moss Bite, which is a melee brave attack which also grants brave to all its allies and restores the allies' HP. Finally, there are two texts that you will see. One is Angry, which raises all its stats, and Angrier, which even further raises its stats. The Swarmfly is also immune to an attack down, magic attack down, defense down, and paralysis debuffs. Now let's take a look at some general tips and guide. The first one is going to be to save at least 70% of your abilities for the final wave. The boss does have a lot of HP, and there is a very tight turn count requirement, I should say, and you will need all your abilities for that final wave. Next is to bring in the boosted characters such as Rinoa, Irvine, and of course Squall. If you don't have any of these characters, there are a lot of characters that you can consider. Some are Warrior of Light, Faris, Tifa, Zack, Lilith, Sephiroth, Agrias, Bard, Yuffie, Cloud, 8, Golbez, Bosch, Kimahri, Emperor, Ultimisia, Noctis, Aranea, and of course Garland. As for the Healers plus Spray battery options, we have a ton of choices for this one as well. The first one is Charlotta, then you got Rem, Yuna, Eiko, Ignis, Rosa, Cait Sith, Lena, Selphie, and of course Y'shtola. And for the summon, you can bring anyone you want. Ifrit, Shiva, Ramuh, Brothers, pick one and you should be able to use them. Again, I don't really particularly like Leviathan, that's why I usually just leave him out, but you can definitely bring him here as well. Okay guys, now let's take a look at some general strategies that I have implemented or noticed that works for this particular fight. Let's start off with the friend support. As always, we do have an abundance of characters that you can bring as your friend support. The first one is Golbez, then you got Aranea, Emperor, and Tifa. It's important to note that if you are planning to bring a friend's Emperor, you might as well bring your own, that way you can double up on the traps and deal more damage. The next one is to use the delay tactic. This is definitely gonna help you out, especially if you have Aranea, Y'shtola, and of course another Aranea support. This will double up your delay, making sure you do as much damage and the boss probably won't get a turn. Next up is to concentrate on the Swarmfly itself, and you can ignore all these small fries. Get what? Did you guys see what I did there? Small flies? Yeah, I hope you did. Anyway, you do not need to kill these small flies in order to end the fight, so concentrate as much as you can on the actual boss itself, because the boss will actually just revive those small flies eventually if the fight goes any longer. Next is to bring in turn efficient characters like Ultimisia and of course Aranea as well. There are a ton more characters that I think are considered turn efficient, just like the Emperor, since you can double up on the traps and actually do a lot of damage that way. You can even bring Charlotta. She is still, I think, at least in my opinion, a very turn efficient character, at least more turn efficient than Ignis himself, because Ignis actually used up a lot of turns in order for him to set up. But if you have Charlotta, then maybe you can actually save a lot of turns this way. And finally, bring a healer that can actually prevent debuffs. Now, this is not completely necessary, however it does help if you do have a healer that can actually prevent the debuffs like poison, and especially the turn rate down and attack down debuff can really hurt your chances in clearing this fight. Okay guys, now let's take a look at some possible party compositions now that we know some tips and some general strategies for this fight. We'll start off with the boosted team, which consists of Rinoa, Irvine, and Squall. This is going to be with an Aranea support and with a Shiva for your summon. Rinoa and Squall is here basically for big damage, and Irvine is more here for the damage, but he does have a small supporting role with his healing, which I think you will need a little bit of, especially for this particular fight. You don't really need the heals a lot of the time, however you do need some sort of a healer, especially if you are using Rinoa. And of course, Squall is again here for more of the splash damage against those small flies, especially with his Renzokuken. Now the next team I have for you guys here is what you are seeing in this video, which consists of Noctis, Ultimecia, and of course Rosa, with Aranea support and Shiva for the summon. Now Noctis is here for the turn shenanigans and of course big boy damage, and of course he's also here for the launches, which will save you a lot of turns. Another character that I considered a little bit turn efficient, especially that now that he can launch as quick as he can. Next is Ultimecia, of course the biggest turn saver character that we have, and I highly recommend bringing her in this particular fight. And Rosa is here just basically for support and the healing from time to time. The next team I have for you guys here consists of Aranea, Y'shtola, and of course Zac, with an Aranea support and Shiva for the summon. This is going to be the delay team that a lot of people will probably end up using. You can definitely switch out Y'shtola to Rosa if you really want to, because Aranea is going to be doing a lot of the carrying for this particular fight if you end up using this team. Heal if you need with Y'shtola or again Rosa, and Zac is a very good offensive tank. And of course, if you can if all the bosses concentrate on Zac, then it gives you more chances for Aranea and your other character to actually keep doing their HP attacks and of course their abilities as well, because you won't have the trouble of thinking, will you get broken on this turn or not. And finally, the last team I have for you guys here is Ultimecia, Y'shtola, I'm losing my voice again, and Emperor with an Emperor support and Shiva for the summon. Ultimecia again to save turns, and Y'shtola for the small delays and support, and this is what I mean by having a double Emperor for the big damage. Basically, doubling up on the Emperor, make sure you actually deal double the damage that Emperor would normally do, and of course you do save turns by activating those traps as well. Okay guys, so we're finally towards the end of this video, and of course I'll give you guys my final thoughts on this fight. Now overall, I think the fight itself is not hard. The thing that makes this fight a lot harder is the minimum amount of turn count you need to make, which is only 75 turns. That's why I do highly recommend bringing characters that are very turn efficient, and you know what, pile on those turn efficient characters. As much as I love Ignis and would like to use him here, he actually wastes a lot of turn. Not that he won't be viable, of course, if you are planning to bring Aranea, it can make up for the lots of turns that he needs to actually set up your entire party. So he is still quite useful, but you need to bring him with a very offensive team. So overall, I would rate this fight just right down in the middle. The fight itself, again, is not hard. It's the turn requirement that makes this a lot difficult. And those are my final thoughts for this particular fight. Please leave a like and subscribe on a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Again, guys, it does help my channel grow, and of course it helps with the YouTube algorithm as well. You can also follow me on Facebook and on Twitter if you have any questions or you just want to talk in general about games, Dissidia Opera Omnia, or something else. You can private message me there and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Also, leave down in the comments below which team you used to actually beat this fight. Did you have to use very turn efficient characters, or you just went with the flow and you got it on your first try? Let me know then in the comments below. This is Munchkins logging off, and I'll see you guys in the next level.